Welcome to Zoe Stories. Mom said, just for fun. Now I'm her daughter full-time. My name is Jordan Blake. I'm 22 years old. A quiet boy by most people's standards. Polite, reserved, maybe a little distant. The kind of son that doesn't stir up trouble. The kind of boyfriend that keeps his emotions bottled up. The kind of person who disappears in a room without anyone noticing. What they don't know is, I've already disappeared. I live back home with my mom, in the same suburban house I grew up in. It's been a year since college ended. A year of job interviews, rejection emails, and finally landing a remote position as a junior data analyst for a startup in New York. I work from my room, muted Zoom calls, spreadsheets, automation scripts. It's quiet work, perfect for someone who has a lot to hide. My room hasn't changed since high school. Same dark blue walls. Same twin bed with the creaky springs. Same shelf of old soccer trophies collecting dust. But now, there's something else, hidden inside a locked drawer. Things I ordered late at night and never told anyone about. Pantyhose. Lip gloss. A pair of nude pumps I stuffed tissue paper into so they'd fit. I don't call it crossdressing. I don't know what to call it. I tell myself it's curiosity. Something to feel something. Something to feel like me when I'm not even sure who that is. I don't do it often. Just late at night, when mom's asleep, and the world goes still. I'd lock the door, close the curtains, and take it slow. The sensation of pulling on sheer tights, the smoothness of a camisole against my skin. It wasn't just exciting. It was calming, like I could breathe in that skin. But every time I looked in the mirror, a wave of shame came crashing down.
Who am I?
Why do I want this? And worse, what if someone finds out? My mom, Linda, is a force of nature. She's in her 40s, but has the energy of someone half her age. She manages a local boutique and treats fashion like a religion. I grew up surrounded by sequins, lipstick swatches on napkins, the smell of perfume lingering in the hallway. She's the kind of woman who wears heels just to go to Target. Who believes in dressing how you want the world to treat you. And then there's Emma, my girlfriend, or at least she was. Things have cracked between us. We met in college. She was bold and chaotic and talked with her hands. I was quiet and steady, which she said made her feel safe. For 2 years, we were opposites that clicked. But after college, I moved back here and she started noticing things. You're distant, she said last time we talked. You act like there's something you're hiding from me. Like, there's a whole version of you I've never seen. And she wasn't wrong. Because how do I tell her that sometimes I imagine myself in her clothes? That I've worn lipstick and looked in the mirror wondering what name I'd pick if I could start over? That I wake up some mornings wishing I could be someone else, not just on the outside but all the way down? I never told her. So now she's fading away. It was an ordinary Wednesday when everything changed. I was sitting at the kitchen table in my pajamas, working on a report I barely cared about, when Mom walked in with a basket of laundry on her hip and a gleam in her eye. You know, she said, tossing socks into a pile, you've been such a blob lately. You need a little fun. I glanced up. Fun.
She grinned.
Makeover fun. I blinked. What, like a haircut? No, she said slowly, as if speaking to a toddler. I mean makeup.
Clothes.
Maybe even heels. Just for fun. Come on, it'll be hilarious. My heart stopped. Was she joking? Did she know? I laughed nervously. Are you serious? She looked me dead in the eye. You've been moping for weeks. I need a new canvas. I say we play dress up. I tried to brush it off. I'm not really the makeover type. She leaned in closer, voice playful. Just one look, one outfit. I won't tell anyone. Pinky promise. She held up her pinky. I stared at it. My mouth said, okay. My mind screamed, are you insane? But my heart whispered, this is your chance. We went upstairs. Her room was exactly what you'd expect, covered in beauty magazines, full-length mirrors, shelves of shoes arranged by color. The air smelled like vanilla and powder. She threw open her closet. Let's see. Oh, this. She held up a silky rose-pink dress with a sweetheart neckline. I laughed. You sure you don't want to start with, like, jeans?
Nope.
You're getting the deluxe package. She tossed it on the bed and handed me a pair of tights. Bathrooms that way. And take your time. My hands were shaking as I entered the bathroom and closed the door. I stared at myself in the mirror. My breathing shallow. My skin pale. I peeled off my hoodie, my boxers, everything. Then I slid into the tights. They hugged my legs tightly. My fingers trembled as I adjusted them. Then the bra. Lightly padded. I stuffed it with folded socks. The dress came next.
Smooth. Cool.
It zipped up with a little struggle, but it fit. I stared at myself. Then I opened the door. Mom gasped, covering her mouth. Oh my God. Jordan, you're adorable. She waved me over to the vanity and started doing my makeup like it was second nature. You've got really pretty eyes, you know that? She said, applying eyeliner. Long lashes, too. Almost unfair. I wanted to respond, to smile, but my throat felt tight. She finished with a swipe of pink lipstick and popped a blonde wig on my head. There, she said, adjusting it. Now look. I turned to the mirror. I didn't see Jordan anymore. I saw someone softer. Prettier. My face, but not mine. I saw the person I imagined when I wore those clothes in secret. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was pretending. Mom stepped back and nodded with approval. You'd make a gorgeous girl. If you ever want to try this again, just say the word. Then her phone rang. She walked out of the room, still smiling, leaving me alone. I sat on the edge of her bed, heels off, dress folded over my lap. The wig itched slightly, but I didn't care. My heart was beating like a drum. Was this just for fun? Or did she know exactly what she was doing? Because now I couldn't go back. I stayed in Mom's room long after she left. The mirror hadn't changed, but I had. There I sat, in a rose-pink dress that hugged every curve she had helped create. My lips shimmered with soft gloss, cheeks gently blushed, the wig framing my face like I belonged in another life. And the thing is, I didn't hate it. I didn't feel like I was impersonating someone. I felt like I was becoming someone. Someone I didn't have to hide.
But the feeling terrified me.
I stood up slowly, still careful not to crease the dress. My legs, wrapped in sheer tights, wobbled slightly in the 2-inch heels. I'd never worn anything like them before, not out of fear of falling, but fear of being seen, of being caught in something I couldn't explain. And yet here I was, in broad daylight, dressed head to toe in my mom's clothes. And she encouraged it. I tiptoed to the window and peeked outside. The street looked normal. Cars passed, neighbors walked dogs. No one knew that inside this house, a quiet boy named Jordan was becoming someone else. I sat back on her vanity stool and glanced at myself again.
Who are you?
The door creaked. I nearly jumped out of my heels. Mom poked her head in, holding 2 mugs of tea. Still at it, huh? She smiled. I laughed nervously. Yeah. Just curious, I guess. She set the mug beside me. You can stay in it as long as you want. You look happy. Lighter.
Do I?
She leaned in, examining her handiwork. You really do. Like you dropped a weight you didn't even know you were carrying. I looked down at my lap. The dress shimmered faintly under the light. She nudged me gently. Want to try another look? My heart skipped. Really? Of course, she beamed. Just between us. It'll be our little game. I didn't know what scared me more, how easily I said yes or how much I meant it. We spent the next hour going through her wardrobe. She dressed me like a doll, laughing the whole time. A floral blouse with puffed sleeves. A pencil skirt that made me walk differently. She let me try heels a size smaller than mine, forcing me to balance, glide, shift my posture like a model. She made it feel like fun, like sisterly bonding. But in the mirror, I wasn't just wearing clothes, I was shedding layers of fear. Every swish of a skirt, every click of a heel, whispered, "This could be you." By the time the sun dipped below the horizon, I had changed outfits 4 times and taken dozens of pictures. She even gave me a nickname, Jenna. Jenna Blake, she said, writing it on a post-it and sticking it to the mirror. That's your name now, whenever we play. I smiled. But deep down, I didn't feel like it was just playing anymore. That night, after Mom went to bed, I returned to my room. I stared at my old clothes, the same hoodie and sweatpants combo I wore every day. I slipped them on, but they felt wrong. Heavy. Like armor I didn't need anymore. So I changed back. Not into the pink dress. Just something soft, her lavender nightgown, some clean tights, and a touch of lipstick I found in the bathroom drawer. I curled up in bed, phone in hand, staring at Emma's last voice note. If you're hiding something, just tell me. If I really know you, I'll understand. I wanted to reply, to tell her the truth. But how do you tell your girlfriend? Hey, I think I might be a girl when no one's looking. I shut my eyes. The soft fabric against my skin was the only comfort I had. The next day, I found a surprise on my desk. A black shoebox, neatly tied with a pink ribbon. A little note on top read, "For Jenna, love, Mom." Inside were 3 things. A light pink blouse, still with tags. A simple silver chain with a heart pendant. A compact powder with a mirror. I held them in my hands like treasure. And that's when I realized I didn't want this to end. That weekend, while Mom ran errands, I dressed up again.
Full look.
From tights to heels. I used the compact she gifted me and even tried curling the wig. I felt beautiful. And then the doorbell rang. I froze. The doorbell never rang in this neighborhood unless someone was selling something or…
Emma.
My heart dropped. She texted last night saying she might come by, and I never replied. What if it's her? What if she sees me? I peeked out my window.
Her car.
Parked in the driveway. She was here. I panicked, raced toward the hallway. But I couldn't go downstairs dressed like this. I kicked off the heels and dashed to my room, heart thudding in my ears. But before I could close my door, Jordan, her voice, floating up the stairs. Are you home? I didn't answer. Your mom said I could let myself in.
Crap.
I yanked off the wig and threw it under the bed. My heart was pounding too loud to think. I started wiping off the lipstick, but smudged it across my cheek. The zipper on the dress got stuck. My hands trembled. Please not like this. Please don't see me like this. And then a knock on my bedroom door. Jordan, you okay? I stood, frozen. The dress still halfway on, the makeup smeared, the wig just barely out of sight. I looked in the mirror, and what stared back at me wasn't Jordan. It was Jenna, half revealed, half exposed. Jordan. Emma's voice came again, softer now. Concerned. Curious. I stared at the mirror, smudged lipstick, tangled wig strands peeking from under the bed, the dress halfway unzipped but still hugging my waist. I was in between worlds.
Too late to hide.
Too afraid to open the door. My voice cracked. Just a sec. I bolted for the closet, yanked out a hoodie, and tried to force it over the dress. But the zipper still wouldn't come down. It was stuck, like it wanted to trap me. I finally pulled the hoodie on and shoved the hem of the dress down into my sweatpants. My heart was pounding so hard I couldn't think straight. I rubbed my lips raw with my sleeve. No time for foundation. The powder Mom had gifted me still sat on the desk, open, used. A souvenir from Jenna. Get it together, I thought. You can't let her see you like this. The knock came again, lighter this time. I opened the door, just a crack. Emma stood there, holding 2 coffees and a brown paper bag. Her expression softened the moment she saw me.
Hey.
You look tired. Are you okay? I nodded quickly.
Yeah.
Just overslept. She stepped inside without waiting for an invitation, like she always used to. Her eyes swept the room. My heart lurched. The bed was a mess. The wig was gone, but the compact still sat out, next to the necklace. Emma's gaze lingered on it. New jewelry? She asked. My breath caught. It's my mom's. Just a gift. Emma blinked. A heart pendant? That's cute. Not really your style, though. I haven't really looked at it. She looked at me closely. Are you sure you're okay? I nodded, arms crossed over my chest to hide the dress bunching under the hoodie. I'm just tired. Work's been a lot. She didn't push. Instead, she handed me the coffee and sat at the edge of my bed. I miss you, she said softly. Whatever's going on, I'm here. Even if it's something weird. Especially if it's weird. I wanted to cry. Instead, I just sipped the coffee and pretended everything was fine. But the compact on the desk reflected a different truth, a face that wasn't ready to be seen, but couldn't stay hidden much longer. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, still dressed in a t-shirt and boxers, but it felt like a lie. Like I'd put on a disguise to hide from the truth. I got up quietly, careful not to wake Mom, and opened the drawer beneath my bed. The shoebox was still there, but now it felt more like a lifeline than a secret. I opened it slowly, running my fingers over the soft fabrics, the tube of gloss, the fake lashes I hadn't dared to try yet. And then I whispered it out loud for the first time, Jenna. It didn't feel like a game anymore. The next morning, Mom caught me before I could vanish into my usual routine. You've been quiet, she said, handing me a smoothie like it was any other day. Too quiet. I forced a smile. Just thinking. She paused, then leaned in. You want to do it again, don't you? I froze. She tapped the side of the cup. The dress up. You liked it. I could see it in your eyes. You looked free. I didn't answer. She reached into her purse and pulled out a small bag. I brought you something. A little more your size. Inside was a peach-colored blouse, soft to the touch, and a pair of modest black flats. I looked at her, stunned. Mom. She smiled gently. We don't have to call it anything. But I see how you light up when you become her. And I want to help you explore it. Only if you want to. I blinked hard to stop the tears. Okay, I whispered. That afternoon, we transformed again. But this time, it wasn't for laughs. It was slow, careful, meaningful. She helped me tuck properly, pad the bra more naturally, and taught me how to blend my foundation so my skin looked smoother. We picked a soft pencil skirt and a pale blue cardigan. She braided the wig into a side plait. Then she said, Try the heels again. I hesitated. I don't know how to walk in them. She raised an eyebrow. You're not walking. You're gliding. Big difference. We laughed. But it wasn't nervous laughter this time. When I turned to face the mirror, I didn't flinch. I smiled. Hi, Jenna. Mom and I talked over dinner like nothing was different. But something was. She asked about my feelings. About why I liked dressing up. About how long I'd been curious. I told her the truth. I think I started wondering in middle school. I'd see makeup tutorials online and wonder what it'd feel like. I never told anyone. I thought it was wrong. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. It's not wrong, sweetheart. You're allowed to explore who you are. Her calling me sweetheart didn't sting like I thought it would. It made me feel safe. But safety didn't last long. Because 2 days later, while I was home alone, I slipped into Jenna again.
Just for a little while.
I wore the flats, the pink blouse. I practiced my voice softly in the mirror. I even painted my nails with Mom's polish. I felt alive, beautiful. And then I heard keys in the door. No. She wasn't supposed to be home until 7. It was barely 5:30. I scrambled, grabbed makeup wipes, kicked off the shoes, ripped the blouse off, but the zipper caught again. Always the zipper. I heard her voice downstairs. Jordan? I'm home early. They closed the shop. Pipe burst.
Panic set in.
I slammed my closet door shut, still in tights and the half-unzipped blouse, and threw on a sweater. But before I could finish, she opened the door and stopped. Her eyes dropped to the pink flats on the floor, then to the open compact on the desk, then to my trembling form. Jenna? Silence. I froze. She stepped inside slowly, her expression unreadable. I didn't mean to scare you. She stopped, eyes glistening. I just wanted to tell you something. I stared at her, terrified. I talked to someone, she said quietly. A friend. Her son came out last year, as her daughter now. I blinked. Why are you telling me this? Because I know this isn't just for fun anymore. She stepped closer, holding my hand. You're not pretending. This is real for you. My throat tightened. I don't know what I am. When I'm Jenna, I feel like I'm allowed to breathe. Mom nodded. Then we figured out. Together. That night, for the first time ever, I went to bed in a nightgown she gifted me, not hiding, not ashamed. The mirror no longer scared me. It reflected a girl still in progress, but a girl who was finally being seen. The next few days were surreal. Mom stopped calling me Jordan when we were alone. She said Jenna easily now, like it had always been there, waiting in her throat. She started helping me build a wardrobe. Secondhand skirts, basic tops, nude lipsticks that didn't scream for attention. We even went shopping together, just browsing, but I knew what she was doing, guiding me, encouraging me, and it felt good. But in the back of my mind, I knew there was still one piece left. One door I hadn't dared open.
Emma.
She texted less. Her messages were shorter, more polite. The kind of text people send before giving up. I wanted to tell her, to show her. But what if she laughed? What if she recoiled? What if she looked at Jenna and saw nothing worth loving? It was a quiet Saturday afternoon. Mom was out at a boutique expo for the weekend. I was alone, which meant one thing. I could be Jenna, fully, for hours without fear. I spent the morning perfecting my makeup, soft pink eyeshadow, a little contour, highlighter on my cheekbones. I wore a blue sundress Mom had gifted me the night before, and the silver heart pendant she said matched my energy. For the first time, I tried a new voice, higher, smoother. I whispered phrases in the mirror. Hi, I'm Jenna. I'm her daughter. My voice cracked, but I kept going. I was halfway through practicing a new walk in heels when my phone buzzed.
Emma. Hey.
I'm in the neighborhood. Want to talk?
Panic.
I hadn't told her. Not even a hint. If she saw me like this, are you home? I'm like 5 minutes away. I should have said no. I should have lied. But some part of me wanted her to see. Wanted to stop hiding. Yeah, I'm home. Okay. See you soon. I stared at the message. And then, instead of changing, I stayed as Jenna. Maybe I wanted to be brave. Maybe I wanted to know, once and for all, if she'd ever accept me. Or maybe I was just tired of living in halves. The doorbell rang 7 minutes later. I peeked out the window. Her hair was in a messy bun. She wore her favorite denim jacket. She looked beautiful and real, and exactly like the kind of girl someone like me would never get to keep. I opened the door. She blinked. For a second, just a second, her face didn't register anything. Like her brain was buffering. Then her eyes moved. From my curled hair to the soft lipstick, to the dress, to the polished fingernails. Jordan? I swallowed. It's Jenna. Right now, it's Jenna. Silence. The air thickened. She stepped inside slowly, shutting the door behind her. Is this a joke? No, I said quickly. It's not a joke. Her eyes flicked to the mirror behind me. She saw what I saw every day, a version of me that wasn't fake. Just hidden. She looked back. How long? I hesitated. Since college. Maybe before. I didn't know how to tell you. Her jaw tightened. So all this time, you were lying? No, I wasn't lying. I didn't even understand it myself. But you do now. I nodded. When I'm like this, I feel free. Like I'm allowed to be something real. She looked down, then back up. Her voice cracked. You kissed me with that lipstick once, didn't you? Last year. I thought it tasted like vanilla. I thought it was mine. I nodded again, guilt burning my throat. She turned, walking toward my room. Are there pictures? My breath caught. What? You've been dressing up like this in secret. There have to be pictures. Videos. Something. Emma. She opened my laptop. I lunged forward. Don't, please. She clicked open a folder on my desktop labeled J, Files. I should have hidden it better. Inside were dozens of selfies, me in makeup, wigs, skirts. Some with little captions I'd written for myself. First day as Jenna. Felt pretty today. Would Emma like this dress? She stared. I stood behind her, humiliated, exposed. Finally, she closed the lid. Her hands shook. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked. "Because I was afraid you'd leave." She turned to face me, tears in her eyes. "And what do you think you've done now?" She stormed out. I didn't stop her. I sat on the floor, still dressed, still painted like Jenna, but suddenly feeling hollow. Like all the joy I'd built had shattered in one blow. I looked in the mirror again, but now I couldn't breathe. Did I just lose the only person I ever loved because I tried to become who I am? I ripped the wig off. The silver heart pendant snapped from my neck and fell onto the floor. The silence was deafening. Just then, the door opened again.
Mom.
She stepped in, saw my face, the smeared lipstick, the broken pendant. She dropped her bag. "What happened?" I tried to speak, but couldn't. She walked over, knelt beside me, and wrapped me in her arms. I sobbed. For the first time since I was a child, I let myself really cry. Mom held me while I cried, letting me break down in a way no one had ever let me before. No words, just warmth, just understanding. Finally, when I could breathe again, she wiped the mascara off my cheeks with the sleeve of her blouse. "She saw," I whispered. "Emma saw everything." "I figured," she said softly. She ran into me in the driveway. "Said I should talk to you." My eyes widened. "She talked to you?" Mom nodded. Didn't say much. Just that she didn't understand it. That she felt like you'd become a stranger. I looked away. "She's right," I said. "I am a stranger. To her. To myself. To everyone." Mom cupped my cheek. "You're not a stranger. You're just finally stepping into the light." I didn't respond. She stood, crossed the room, and picked up the broken necklace, the one with the heart pendant she'd given me. The chain had snapped, the tiny clasp barely holding the two halves together. She sat beside me again. "Do you want to fix it?" I shrugged. She placed it gently in my hand. "You don't have to wear it," she said. "But I want you to remember what it meant." I looked down at the little silver heart, glinting faintly under the lamp. "What did it mean?" I asked quietly. "That someone sees you," she said, "and loves all of it." The next day, I stayed in bed. No makeup, no dress, no Jenna, just a hoodie, the old one I used to drown in before I ever touched a compact or a pair of tights. Mom didn't push me. She gave me space, but left tea outside my door. A silent reminder that she was there when I was ready. I wasn't sure I ever would be. 3 days passed. I didn't dress up. I didn't leave the house. I didn't text Emma. But I kept the broken pendant on my desk, next to the compact. A reminder of what I'd lost, and maybe what I'd become. Then, on the 4th day, something changed. It was late, past 10 p.m., when the doorbell rang. I paused. Mom was in bed. We weren't expecting anyone. I hesitated and opened it.
Emma.
She stood in the doorway, her eyes glassy, hands stuffed into her coat pockets. I said nothing. "I don't know what I'm doing here," she blurted. "I just couldn't sleep." I opened the door wider. She stepped inside, cautiously, like she was afraid of breaking something fragile. We sat in silence in the living room. Finally, she spoke. "I've never seen you that happy before," she said. "Not in years. Not even with me." I stayed quiet. And I hated that because it wasn't with me. It was with her. I turned. "Her." She swallowed. "Jenna." The name hung in the air. "That's what you call yourself, right?" I nodded, heart racing. She looked down. "I felt betrayed, Jordan."
Or.
"Jenna. I felt like I didn't know you." "I didn't know me either," I whispered. "Not until recently." She turned to face me. "Then why didn't you tell me?" "Because I was scared," I said, voice trembling. "Scared you'd think I was disgusting. Or broken. Or fake." She bit her lip. "You're not fake. But you didn't trust me." Tears welled in my eyes. I wanted to. I just didn't think I deserved to be loved like that. She didn't say anything. I stood, crossed the room. Then I reached into the hallway closet and pulled out the blue sundress.
The one I wore that day.
I held it like a flag. This is who I am, I said, voice shaking. Maybe not forever. Maybe I'm still figuring it out. But this, Jenna, is real. And I don't want to hide anymore. Emma stared at the dress. Then at me. You really love being her. I nodded. She makes me feel alive. She took a breath. Then I want to meet her properly. I blinked.
What?
I want to meet Jenna, she said softly. Not in a panic. Not during a fight. But with intention. My breath caught. You don't have to do that, I whispered. I want to, she replied. If you're brave enough to become her, then I can be brave enough to face her. An hour later, I stood in front of my mirror. Lipstick applied, wig perfectly brushed, the blue dress hugging me like it was waiting. I walked back into the living room. Emma sat on the couch. I cleared my throat. Hi. She turned. Her eyes softened instantly. Hi, Jenna. I smiled. Nervous. Vulnerable. She smiled back. You look beautiful. I choked up. So do you. We talked. For hours. She asked questions. I answered them all. No more secrets. No more shame. She didn't promise anything. She didn't say she fully understood. But she held my hand. And in that moment, it was enough. The next morning, I clipped the silver heart pendant back together. The chain was still broken. But I wore it anyway. Because sometimes broken things can still be beautiful. Especially when you choose to wear them proudly. I thought that would be the end of it.
Emma saw me.
Accepted me. At least, partially. Mom was still calling me Jenna in private. She even asked if I wanted to visit a local support group just to see. And I almost said yes. For the first time in my life, the world didn't feel like a trap. It felt like maybe, just maybe, I could belong. 3 days later, Mom left for a weekend yoga retreat. Emma texted me. Movie night?
You. Me.
Popcorn. Jenna optional. I laughed. She'll be there. I took my time getting ready. My makeup had improved, lighter on the foundation, more confidence with the eyeliner. I chose a soft sweater dress in lavender. Casual but me. I wore the silver pendant again. The one with the broken clasp. I clipped it together.
Carefully.
Even broken things deserve to shine. Emma knocked on the door at 7:30 sharp. I opened it. She whistled. Damn. I blushed. You're not supposed to say that to the girl with the nervous hands. Well, the nervous girl is glowing, she smirked. I invited her in. We settled into the couch, halfway through the movie when the doorbell rang. Both of us froze. I thought your mom was out of town, Emma said. She is. I stood slowly. The knock came again. 3 hard raps. I walked to the door and peeked through the side window. My stomach dropped. It was my aunt, my mom's older sister, the same aunt who practically raised me when I was little. Conservative. Judgmental. Not someone who'd understand this. Emma whispered, Should I go? I shook my head. Too late. Another knock. I opened the door, just a crack. Her eyes widened. She looked at me up and down, taking in the dress, the soft makeup, the wig, the pendant. Then she said, Where's Jordan? My voice caught. I'm here. Silence. She looked past me, saw Emma on the couch, the blanket draped across our laps, the lipstick on the counter, the nail polish drying on the table. I need to speak with your mother, she said coldly.
She's not home, I replied.
Her lips tightened. Then maybe I should call her. No, I said quickly. Don't. She stared at me. This isn't who you are, she said sharply. This is confusion. A phase. I opened the door wider. This is who I've always been, I said softly.
She scoffed.
And your mother's letting this happen? She's supporting me, I said, proud and terrified at once. Her eyes narrowed. We'll see about that. She turned and walked off. I shut the door. My knees gave out. Emma caught me before I hit the floor. She's going to tell your mom, she whispered. I know. She might tell more people. I know. I looked at her, eyes wide. I'm not ready. She nodded. But you're not alone anymore. Later that night, After she left, I stood in front of the mirror again. The pendant glinted softly. The chain held barely. I leaned in closer. And for the first time, I didn't see Jordan at all. Just Jenna, smiling.
Alive.
But then, a voice from downstairs. My phone wasn't ringing, but my mom's landline was. A sound I hadn't heard in weeks. It rang once.
Twice.
3 times. I stared at my reflection. I didn't move, because I knew who it was. Then silence. I took 1 step back from the mirror. The pendant snapped. The heart hit the floor and shattered.